Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, guys, this was our Patreon exclusive yesterday. Shocking stuff, absolutely. We want to thank our newest Patreons.
A huge thank you to Andrew, Estelaris, John, Billy, Angel, Amber. You guys, thank you for doing this with us.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without you guys. Exclusives each week over there. So here we have another person collapsing. This is Mississippi Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann. Collapsed while presiding over the state Senate chamber. Was reportedly conscious while being attended to by medical staff. Is doing well and in good spirits. He's 77. What exactly happened there, again, everybody's going to have their opinions, and we'll wait and see what the official verdict is. Could be anything, guys. Could be anything. Here you have a judge in Mississippi. Judge orders Mississippi newspaper to delete editorials criticizing public officials. Are you serious? Now, I think we need to have a zero tolerance when it comes to people that don't seem to want to give us freedom of speech and want to just take away all our freedoms. I think they need to be removed immediately. So this here is Mayor Chuck Espy, who celebrated the court's decision ordering a local newspaper to delete an editorial that criticized the city officials. How can you do that? I mean, I just don't see how you can do that.
I don't know, but they just sort of kind of do.
Yeah, and again, there's platforms, very big platforms, the biggest platforms that there are, that kind of do the same thing every day, if you know what I mean. Excuse me there. Tragic midair collision. Yes, two airplanes have collided. This is in Arizona, Marana Regional Airport today. Unfortunately, it led to the death of both pilots. These were small planes, but, they're investigating again, the FAA and the NTSB. I saw stats where somebody was showing that we had about 15 less plane crashes in 2024 than we had in 2023 in the U.S., when you take into account all the small planes, everything. And so, the point was that, the numbers are not outrageously more. And so far this year seems to be the total numbers seem to be proportionate, but it just doesn't feel that way. Now, is it just because people are focusing on it?
It's really hard to say right now. It's just one of those things. It's like when you stub your toe and it really hurts, and it just seems like you stub it again and again and again. And it's more noticeable, but I think for a good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're thousands of feet up in the air, it's not good. And so this collision actually happened. This person here is doing a little diagram. As you can see, there was a collision alert, and number 1, then number 2, number 3, number 4, and it looks like they just kind of, as you can see here, a little diagram, boom. So what the heck is going on? And because it takes the ground control to FUPA, it takes both pilots to not see they're going to collide. I just think there's a lot of people with things on their minds, or are they just simply not functioning well?
I don't know.
Here you go. Now, I don't know if this is in jest or not, because that number is enormous. Unconfirmed, speculative rumors that Dodge may have uncovered mysterious government agency called bots blocking out the sun. The bots department has allegedly received over what? Let's see, 100,000, 100 million, 100 billion, 100 trillion, quadrillion. Wow, that's a lot of money. But it wouldn't surprise me at all, because again, when you get down to it, especially when we're talking digits, it doesn't have to be there. Again, most people don't realize that when you talk about capitalization, how much money do you think is in your bank? Have you ever tried to withdraw an even, relatively large amount of money And it's like, wait a minute, I put it in there. Why are you making me jump through these hoops? And sometimes they make you come back. It's because they don't have it. That's the reality. Most banks have less than 10%. In fact, I think about 6% was around the rolling average. Money actually there in the safe of what's supposed to be there from the deposits of everybody that has deposited. And again, feel free to correct me on that number. It's been a little while since I checked it, but the the point is there's very little there to meet the eye. So doesn't it kind of hit you like it's just one big Ponzi scheme, our monetary system?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
And here you have DHS Secretary Kristi Noem warned employees that polygraph tests will be used to help crack down on leaks that agency officials say have foiled immigration raids. Ooh, all polygraphs must include a cue on unauthorized communication with media and nonprofits. Interesting. Have any of you guys ever taken a polygraph test before? I have.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's interesting. Trump brands Zelensky a dictator without elections. The Ukrainian leader early criticized the U.S. for holding peace talks with Russia and excluding officials from Kiev. There's all sorts of info here about Trump wanting so much money worth of rare earth minerals in this deal. It's like right out of his book, The Art of a Deal. With the bargaining that's going on between the U.S. and Russia with nobody from Ukraine present. And then they're talking about it just being carved up. Again, Ukraine didn't exist as a sovereign nation in the 1970s. It was only after the breakup of the USSR that it came about. Same thing with Israel going back to 1948. But I think really what you're seeing here is kind of out in front, just very, very open negotiations that are really showing the state of how things are to a higher degree, because here you have the two big powers saying what they're going to do, carving up the little power and trying to make a deal. And, without the little power itself being present, of course, we all know, Zelensky is quite simply just an actor, or is it just a gigolo and everybody knows? Yeah, he's quite the showman,
I mean, seriously, does he go to these places and these people actually come to see him do these things? I don't get it. It's just not the kind of party that I would go to. I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm just shaking my head now.
It reminds me of that. Was it Drop Dead Fred or Right Said Fred?
Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead Fred. What was that song? I'm too sexy for my red thing.
Yes, your red thing. Okay, got it. Got it.
You have to laugh at it. Oh my gosh, it's just insane. We have one planned for Patreon that we don't dare put up anywhere else. It's going to be fun. The Department of State under President Trump has officially designated the following as foreign terrorist organizations. Trendy, Aragua. Yeah, the cartels. MS-13, Sinaloa cartel. Yes, absolutely. These are definitely bad guys. There's no way around that. You cannot label them good guys in any way, shape, or form. And the fact is that they are armed. They're as armed as many militaries on the planet. Meanwhile, the U.S. launched a hypersonic nuclear missile, to show readiness amid fears of WW3. They've always dangled that around us, trying to terrify us. But the reality is, wars do happen. World wars have happened. And we all know that war is big, big business. It's just very surreal nowadays to watch everything. Meanwhile, Australian Navy is bleeping in its pants as 3 Chinese warships spotted off the coast of Sydney. Yeah, it's there still is that tension out there, even though there seems to be a much more easier way of getting a dialogue going. Now, just listen to this for yourself. Now, I have seen people, when we talk about eating organic, say, there's no difference. Really? Let's see. I want to make sure the sound's up on this one. Here you go. Let's listen to this exchange with Senator Ron Johnson.
Concerns out of the GMO seeds?
I would say I think the biggest concern is that some of these crops already have a pesticide in them. There's a certain crop called BT corn, and it has a BT gene. When the insects eat this corn, it makes their stomachs explode. And when I think...
Yeah, do you want a serving? Do you want a helping of that?
Yeah, no, let's try it and see. Of course, we're going to be fine. Poor insects. Let's not worry about them.
Yeah, they'll say, well, of course, your stomach's not like an insect stomach. But again, it's the resonance, it's the energy, and it's the accumulation of toxins that end up affecting us. And obviously, there's an epidemic of cancer out there, which, again, is parasitic in nature. From my opinion, is definitely parasitic. And anybody that has cancer, you're going to be acidic. You need to get a little more alkaline. And basically clean up the diet and do not take in simple sugars because they feed it. And again, when you look, and I've had so many videos pulled because this is health misinformation is what they'll say. But again, you'll have you'll have your hospital officials, your doctors, your nurses and stuff, saying, don't forget to get the Ensure. Now that you're getting your chemo or what have you, Ensure is sugar, sugar, sugar. It's going to feed the cancer. It is like the most asinine, stupid thing to possibly do. And yet they do it all day long. And it's not labeled misinformation. That should be misinformation.
I agree.
It's just horrible. 8 people rescued on Mount Etna as lava spectators caused traffic jams in Italy. Yeah, there feels like there's something really big brewing when it comes to volcanic or earthquake activity. Everybody we talk to seems to feel it, but tell you what, 104 inches of snow in upstate New York is quite a bit. Now, that area does get a ton of snow. 9 feet of snow. Wow. And check out this over in Detroit. It's going to be a real pain in the arse digging the car out in the morning.
That's pretty harsh. That's a harsh day.
Yeah, and I was working out in the yard, and it's 25 degrees. We're not usually 25 degrees in the deep south. But then, even Florida was affected by the crazy temperatures swings that we've had. Still get all those strange clouds too. World becomes a brighter place as Trump reverses Biden's incandescent light bulb ban. Incandescent light bulbs, yes, we've talked about that before. The LEDs, they literally are flashing, thousands or hundreds of thousands of times. And they actually can. There's warnings that they could, lights flashing like that could trigger epileptic seizures. It's just something to be aware of. So incandescent, there's a lot of things that we should go back to the past in order to, have a better situation, as the technology has a tendency often, not always, but often, to bring new problems to us. Make sure you guys get your exercise in every day.
No, this guy, he's just going for it. He's just, he's going to take what comes because he likes to fly around and have fun. I mean, that's his cutest little fat little fur ball. I love it. He's so cute.
Yeah, I had a kitty that looked just like him, though it wasn't quite as round.
He's a cutie.
As always, guys, thank you for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys. Look forward to your comments. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.